What's up, techies? Let's take a look at the Samsung Gear VR partnered with the Galaxy S7 Edge. I've had the Gear off for about 2 weeks now, and I've been playing with it off and on, trying to get a good feel for it so I can give you guys my best experience with this device. And I must say, it's a pretty neat device to take a look at. I think VR is on the brink of being something really unique and bringing us a different way to enjoy our entertainment. What I was most curious about is if this was any better than Google Cardboard or any of the other kind of VR headsets that you can get that works with cardboard apps. There's a few things that are really cool about the Gear VR, and then I think there's some benefits to just the Google Cardboard. But for this video, we're mainly going to focus on the Gear VR and just kind of go over my experience with it. So this is the version that works with the Galaxy S7 and the Galaxy S7 Edge. There are different versions for different phones like the Note 4, Note 5, Galaxy S6, and so forth. So this one is designed for specifically with those two devices. To get going, basically you're going to take off this little visor here, and then you got a few different settings or notches to go with. If you have the Galaxy S7, this is the setting that you'll be on, but you can push this forward so that way it can fit with the Galaxy S7 Edge. On this side of the Gear VR, you're going to notice that there's a USB connection here, and that's where you're going to plug your phone into. And then on this side, as I mentioned, depending on if you have the S7 or the Edge, you're going to put it on this spot here. So I'll go ahead and get it installed and kind of go over some of the functions real quick. When you put the phone into the Gear VR, you're going to want to make sure that you have it on the home screen and not the lock screen. It's going to need to be unlocked, otherwise it'll tell you to remove the phone and unlock the screen. You can't use a case with it, so you're going to have to take a case off if you do use that. It turns off and goes into Gear VR mode. And as you can see here, it's going to be fit for the S7 Edge because that's the notch that I have it on. So you just kind of snap it in place and it fits in just perfectly. You might be wondering what the purpose of this is. Like, you can actually use the device without this visor on, but what it helps it do is kind of blocks out any kind of light leakage. So you're going to want to use this with the Gear VR. Now that you got the phone installed, let me go over some of the functions here and so that we can kind of get familiar with what's going on. This adjustment here is for your focus. You're just going to rotate it back and forth depending on your focus level that you want it at. As you can see here, as I adjust this, you see this going up and down. You're not going to know what the focus point is going to be until you have it on, so you don't have to really mess with this until you have it on your head. On this side is your back button, and this is like a trackpad in selection, so you're going to select things by just tapping the pad, and then you can scroll and so forth whenever you're navigating throughout the different programs. This is your volume adjustment here. This little hole here is that way if you want to use your headphones, the ones that came with it, or any other wired set, you can place it through here. I recommend plugging in the headphones before you have this installed, that way you don't have to take it back off. Personally, I actually used a Bluetooth headset the most, and that kind of made it wireless, and I didn't have to worry about a wire getting in the way, and it had better sound than what the Samsung earbuds that are provided with the Galaxy S7. Not that they're bad, but I just prefer the over-the-ear headset that I have. The straps are okay, they're easy to adjust. You basically, if you need it tighter, you just tighten it up and Velcro it down. But I've got a big old noggin, so I typically just have it on the looser end of the settings. It fits pretty comfortably. The part that I think that needs improvement is this area right here. After wearing it for about 15 or 20 minutes, I need to make adjustments. That might be something normal, but I've used other kind of VR sets that are a lot more comfortable than this one. Now on the inside here, this is where obviously you're going to view stuff at, but this is a little sensor here, and this tells you the device to kind of come on to a sleep mode. If you don't have it on, it's not going to have the screen on, but once you press this, you'll start to see the screen come on, as you can see right there, and you're going to notice that you're going to be able to start navigating with the different VR settings. Now this is the hard part to actually explain the experience. You have to almost take my word for it. I'll give you a short example, and actually you can watch Max Lee's video that he did a while back on the Note 4 version that did some really cool effects. I'll leave a link down below to his video, and he kind of mirrored the screen and whatnot so you can see what you're seeing on the inside. But when you look on the inside, when you move your head around, you're going to see a little crosshairs basically kind of thing that you kind of aim at. And then when you want to make a selection, all you do is tap this side right here and it selects that app. As you could kind of barely see right there, you see the Netflix app on the right eye hole area. So if I were to look at that, all I have to do is just look at it and then hit the selection button and it goes into the Netflix app. And that's kind of the neat thing about this. Like, the thing about VR is that it puts you into a whole different world. You can see everything around you. You're not in the same kind of area. It's not just looking at a flat screen. You're looking at the whole area around with the program. It's really cool. And the more you look around, the more you see. You can see at the top left, you see the March Madness app. That's really cool. You can watch March Madness basketball. Really cool stuff that you could kind of feel like you're in the stands. That's really neat to me. All right, so what I'm going to do is go to the Google Cardboard YouTube page, and I'm just going to select this guy right here. And this is kind of what the view that you're going to see when you watch this kind of video, or this is how it's set up at least. So when you move around, as you can see here, that you can see different parts of it. But if you start to move around different areas, you're going to notice that, okay, well, you got the different scrolls here. So when you start looking around, you're going to start seeing more and more stuff. So you have to kind of pretend like this is your head moving around, not my hands moving this around, but you're seeing all that kind of stuff right there. It's really neat. That's just one little part there. So let's look at another video that looks pretty cool. These different like flying around kind of stuff. It really feels like you're part of the experience. And this is a pretty cool little video. Like it feels like you're part of the skydiving team. And if you just sit still, you might miss out on something. So you have to look around. That's the neat thing about this. Ah, see? There's the team. So if you're looking up, you're going to notice your team and there's someone right around you. And that's where this really sets up apart from just looking at a flat screen, like a 3D effect, like where it feels like it's coming at you. This is like a different world, like you're part of the video. It's like first person kind of deal. So you just kind of move your head around and that's what you're going to see. This is actually a really neat video. It's a roller coaster and it really makes it feel like you're part of the ride. You can just imagine having this, like it feels like you're part of the roller coaster. It's really neat stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this put on. It kind of reminds me of boot camp when I had to put on a gas mask, but you're just gonna strap it onto your head, and then you just kind of make any kind of adjustments that you might need. Sometimes you gotta tighten the strap up a little bit just to give that extra comfort level. All right, so when you get this on, like you saw that little preview of a home screen, I'll try to throw some screenshots of what this actually looks like. But you look over to the left, you got your store, and then that has all the apps. Then you got your Gear VR, Samsung apps. Then you got some of your like featured apps that they're trying to promote, like the featured NCAA March Madness. You got Marvel Avengers, Netflix, Oculus Video, so on and so forth. There's just a ton. At the bottom, you got your home, store, and library. Or you can go over to your library on the right-hand side, and you get to see all of your stuff that you've installed or that you've bought. As you can see, I've got this on the loosest setting that I have as far as the strap goes. I got a hat on. I normally don't wear a hat, but I just like to wear a hat for my videos. But it still feels pretty comfortable for the most part. It actually feels more comfortable wearing a hat with this because it just adds an extra comfort level. It seems like, I don't know, it's just the top of these things right here that end up kind of getting irritating. Another thing that I've discovered with this is that if it's humid at all, or if you're hot, or if your body's putting off any kind of heat, it gets foggy. Like the things fog up every once in a while. So that's kind of a bummer. I have to take them off and let them clear up. I don't know if anybody else has experienced it or not, but I've experienced it a few times since I've used this. There's something that's got to have to change with that because, I don't know, I live in the South. It's really hot and humid a lot. So I don't know. It's just going to be one of those things where they're going to have to fix that to be enjoyable. It's kind of a pain in the butt to have to take it off to let it clear up and then go back to your business. One of the things that I really appreciate about the Gear VR is that it's got the navigation pad. That's something that not even that these guys have. It's a great Google Cardboard VR set, but there's no way to navigate around except for when you move around and you sit still for a while. The crosshairs is basically how you select things. It's a lot easier to scroll around, but also just being able to select different apps. With Google Cardboard, sometimes you gotta take the device out just to navigate around, but with this, you can navigate completely with this alone. Probably my favorite thing about this was being able to really kind of just take myself out of the world that I'm in and put it into another one. What I mean by that is that I have found myself completely relaxed when I'm using this. The other day I noticed that I was extremely relaxed. It was almost therapeutic when I was using the Gear VR. I didn't really appreciate it until after the fact. I just noticed that I was just sitting still, like completely sitting still, and my heart rate was slow. It just was a very nice therapeutic experience. Being able to just kind of separate myself from the chaos that's going on around me and just kind of put myself into something else, my whole focus is totally elsewhere, especially when I got the earphones in. it helps just kind of separate yourself from the chaotic world around you and just go into another one. I gotta say, it's probably my favorite thing about the Gear VR, being able to separate yourself from the world around you and just kind of get lost into a different world for a little while. For the most part, I've enjoyed using the Gear VR. It's been a cool experience. I'm not 100% sold on it yet. The reason I say that is because I got to experience a really cool VR headset at the Andrew Barbecue. I met these guys, Ion VR, and they have a headset that looked really, really nice. It comes out later this year, and I can't wait to see what it's going to be like. The HD quality was so much better than anything else that I've experienced. That includes the Gear VR and some of the Google Cardboard apps. Some of you might know Chainfire, who is responsible for Super SU, the rooting capabilities for our Android devices. He is part of the team that's helping create the experience with Ion VR. With that said, you can expect the Ion VR to be something to be looking forward to. Now, as far as being $100, it's really not that bad of a price for a VR set. It's got better features than what you're going to get for those $30 sets that you get on Amazon. I've reviewed a few of those. They're pretty cool. They're better than like the literal cardboard, Google Cardboard viewers. There's just a few things I want tweaked on the Gear VR. And once they get beyond that, it's going to be a really awesome set to have. Smartwatches for the last couple of years has been the wearable device that everybody has had their attention on. I think this year is definitely like a good introductory year. That's where you're seeing a lot of different companies coming out with their versions of VR. HTC has the Vive coming out. LG has their own version of VR. The point that I'm actually going to get the most excited about this is when the 360 cameras come out. I can't wait to get my hands on the Samsung 360 camera because that's where it's going to be a lot of fun, where you can shoot your own 360 videos and just give a whole different experience to shooting videos. This year is going to be really cool with VR, so definitely stay tuned for more coverage on my end, but also a lot of other great tech YouTubers. Lots of cool stuff coming out this next year. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss those videos when they come out. I appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching this video. Hit a thumbs up if you like this video. And until then, stay techie.